Okay. I'd like to call to order the Budget Committee meeting at 6:22 PM. Roll call. We have Patrick, Glenn, me, Jeff,
Jeff's here.
and Jason, and Lisa.
And Shelley.
And Shelley. Oh my God, I didn't even see you come in. I look right by you, but
She was here for the whole meeting, the other one. She was sitting right there.
but
She was sitting back there.
what? Michelson was sitting here.
Yeah, she was sitting there.
Correct, because he's facilities.
She was sitting there,
But I never saw him leave and her sit there. So my apologies. Okay. Motion to approve the agenda. And I just looked right by her because he had gray or white on too.
So move.
Glenn and Jeff,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
There are no minutes. Public participation?
There's no one on the line.
None, okay. Discussion and next steps, monthly financials.
Okay. Everybody received a copy of the monthly financials. We're in good shape. And we have the backup here as well. I don't know if anybody had any questions regarding the monthly financials.
I'd just like to interrupt and say, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Everyone's been so supportive. I'm thrilled to be able to be in this role. So thank you. Be all proud. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Okay. I have some questions unless anyone else would like to go first. You would?
I have whenever you're. Sorry, Jason, I didn't see you raising your hand. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask on page 6 of 12, substitute salaries being 114 over. 114% over,
I had that too.
5120.
Yeah, so the initial budget was probably set too low for that as far as the substitute need goes, so we'll just have to look at that for next year for budgeting purposes. Sound about right?
I think it's the same, it does that every year, doesn't it? We always end up in that same, we're also getting better fill
Right.
rate right now, so, than we have in years past.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Jason, and that's a great question, we actually debated upping it a little last year, and we did up it, and obviously we didn't up it enough. So I appreciate you bringing the question up, but that's exactly where we're at for that. And it's always such a hard number to really nail down, but I think this year we definitely have to give it a little more credence and up it a little more. But thank you.
The only other question that I had was the, and I don't know if it's in here, the perfect attendance incentive. Is that through general budget? Is that a grant? And where is that? Were we above or below what we were expecting for the first quarter?
So I could answer part of that, and Kim may want to jump in. I'm glad Kim's here. No, I think we did expect a really good number for the first quarter. We're happy that people came to work and took advantage of it. So I think our first quarter numbers were pretty much, and I don't want to speak for Kim, but pretty much exactly where we had kind of estimated. I think we're starting to see a decline, obviously for the second quarter already. So while it, no surprise for the first, little shocking for the second, to be honest, a little more rapid decline than we would have expected. We would have thought the numbers would have still been in a higher percentage. And Kim has those percentages, not yet for the second, but definitely for the first. In terms of budgeting, it is in the general for now, and if need be, because it is an attendance incentive and part of an attendance incentive, we could look to tap into a grant if we were realizing it was going to go too over. So I hope that answers your question from a financial aspect. But we were very happy for first quarter, but if I'm being honest, like I always am, the second quarter, we would thought it would be a little higher, and it's not trending the way we would have liked currently.
First quarter's easy.
First quarter was easy. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, not me. Yes, your words, not mine.
Easier than the rest.
That's correct. Kim, did I leave anything out? I'm sorry.
No, I think you're right on. I mean, first quarter, pretty much for every 10-month employee is a gift. Like, you gotta work 20 days and you get it, right? Like, because it's the first quarter. So we knew the first quarter was gonna be high, but, in our opinion, that's you know, a cost benefit for us because, you know, we're starting out of the gate strong and we're making sure everybody is, you know, here for our kids in the first month. So, so I think we knew it was going to be high in first quarter, but, you know, to Michael's point, you know, there's already a little bit of a decline when we look at the, you know, October numbers. So, you know, I think as we get to a point where they have to do 3 months of perfect attendance, it's going to be a little different in the second quarter.
Where is that in the budget? Like, what is it, in what line item, or what is it?
I don't
As far as the
recall
expense?
offhand.
No?
I can
Okay.
get that for you, and I can work with Donna, and we can share that at the next
Okay.
meeting. Yeah, I
Just-
apologize for not having that, yes.
It's not within their salaries?
It is.
I think that's
but
how
I
we
think
ended up doing it. I
Was it
just,
just
I'm not
under
sure.
salaries? I'd have to just triple
I
check.
think that's
don't
where we
know.
ended up just
Yeah.
adding it to
I
their
think so,
salaries,
too.
because it literally, maximum, it's $1,000 add to each salary, so I think that we tossed it back and forth when
I
we
think
first
it is
came up
too.
with it.
I'd rather be
I just
100%
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if that's where it
Absolutely,
landed, but I think that's what we talked about.
90% certain.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It might also be in stipends. And we had that conversation off the cuff after, during that meeting. I thought stipends was also mentioned as an option of where it may have ended up.
That's all I had, thank you.
No, thank you, Jason.
Okay. 5295. Clothing allowance,
What page?
7 of 12.
Okay, so clothing allowance, according to the contracts, they, certain staff have an allotment for their clothing. And
Custodial stuff.
the custodian, I think the paras, some of the security paras.
Yeah, the security
and the
paras, the
caf-
custodians, and the cafeteria.
And so I think we just need to make a budget adjustment there because I think there was a contractual increase. And we just have to, you know, the budget, I think, kind of came after or before.
Yeah, so in the non-certified contracts that were just ratified in August.
It's changed
There
the
was some
clothing allowance.
increases to those allowances that, in some of those contracts.
Yes.
So,
Which was after the budget.
which was after the budget was adopted.
Okay. Same page, 5340, other professional services.
Okay, that one, okay, that one we had 2 staff that retired and we couldn't replace them, so we had to use a consulting service to, you know, still have the students' needs met. So you'll see that this is over, but then where the staff were retired from, there's money there,
So balances.
yes.
I think that's the clearest explanation of other professional services we've ever gotten. As far as, we've only.
I know.
Thanking HR for that one.
And I ask this every month, miscellaneous professional
That's
services.
the one.
Oh, yeah, we'll see now, you're gonna get the same answer.
the number,
So
Ellen?
that one I have to dig into.
5340.04.
Yeah, that one I have to follow up on, I don't have that answer.
Okay, thank you. All right, page 8 of 12. It's probably for Dean. 544110, sports complex,
Oh.
annual maintenance contract.
That was for the turf.
Turf, yeah.
And so I
That's
guess.
the one you asked me about?
Yeah, so the turf just needs some refurbishing, I think, to keep it up to par.
So every year they do a
Unintended.
service to spruce it up and keep it so it'll
Right.
extend the lifespan, kind of like we talked about before.
Right,
They
but
come out, They
it's
visually look at it and they do whatever service they need.
just higher than what was budgeted,
Yeah.
but because the cost went up after budget?
I would have to assume so.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
thank you.
probably a little increase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's probably the same with 552002, athletic insurance, probably the costs went up after budget.
Yes, but I'll confirm that.
Okay, thank you. 5530, communications.
Okay, this one I'm going to look into. I
Okay.
think, well, I'll check the technology. I believe it's impacted there.
next page, 9 out of 12. 556301. Tuition detention center.
Yes, so we have to use a facility longer than anticipated due
Okay.
to a situation with a student.
And just so, there's no way to determine
No,
that.
absolutely.
So
No, no, no.
We could budget
Absolutely.
as best we can, but
It's
Go
just
right
like
off the edge.
tuition,
Exactly.
sped, and
exactly.
transportation, yeah. I get it. Next one, page 10 of 12, electricity, 5622.
Yes, so once again, the costs were a little bit higher, but I told with the new meters, we're gonna probably get a savings. I'm just looking at Dean, because that's
All
what
right,
I
so
was
it could
told.
potentially
I don't think
balance.
it's promised, but
We started to dig into Eversource and all the meters we have and the meters that are under the contract that we are with the city of Torrington for a certain kilowatt per hour.
Okay,
And yes, we have started to dig into it. So we have a couple of
Great.
new meters also because of the new school. And, yes,
Should see some difference in
yeah,
savings.
it's very,
okay, so,
we gotta dig way deep into, I have a good contact at CLMP, thanks to George.
Oh, good.
Eversource, that is diving in with us. I gotta do a little bit of legwork. I gotta get some meter numbers, make sure they're at the right address, and then we can make sure that a couple of these, I don't think that increase is, we have one meter that might not be on this service right now. We're only using 300.
That's not a lot, yeah, that's not the,
So, but the other ones should all be under this, service agreement that we have.
nice.
And there was a huge, I don't say huge, there was a big increase this year in CLMP.
Like
yes.
everybody's,
Yes,
So-
been a hot
yes,
topic
So that,
in the whole state,
right,
if we didn't have this deal that they made with the city, it would be
even worse.
even worse.
Yeah.
right. And this also takes into consideration, once the high school's online, those meters.
There
Yes,
should be cost savings with the high school.
Well, you got one high school going down, one high school going up. So as far as
true,
energy efficiency, you would think so. Size of the building, you would think so. And then you're gonna have a middle school going on, and that size of the two buildings is probably gonna be more
It's
than
a lot of square
one.
footage.
So there's no way to nail that down.
no way, no, right, right.
But also
But we-
remember,
we
we're
s-
getting reimbursed for any of the electricity right now in the new building.
Right.
That comes back and that'll offset pluses and minuses as well.
And I remember we talked about it, it was taken under consideration when the budget was,
That's correct.
yeah. Okay, let's get back to page 5 of 12, I'm sorry, jumping all over. 511165, which is guidance counselors. So they're 10 months, right?
They're 10 months, but they have additional days built in. At the end of the school year, at pre-opening,
Okay.
yes.
So, but looking at it, looks like it's trending over?
I wonder, Kim, could that have been because of their contract increases for their additional days?
That was part of the,
Probably not. There's probably another reason why it's trending over.
Oh,
That's okay.
there
You
is
can-
another reason why.
you can-
Yes.
There is a reason.
Yep,
Um,
yep, that we can't.
I
That we
could
can't really
also-
talk about.
personnel related,
Well, I
we
could
can't talk
also
about
look
it.
into,
Okay.
there could be some guidance counselors that might be in grants, that might just be in the GL right now. So
Okay.
I'm gonna just double check and go through them and make sure.
Okay. I
Is
don't
that
need,
the right spot in
I
it?
don't need an answer tonight, but thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have. Lisa, you have anything? Patrick? Glenn?
Nope.
Jeff, anything?
You got 99% of my questions. The only one I have is 5210. The health insurance. I don't remember the page number. I just know the GL number.
6 of 12.
6 of 12. I just noticed that the year-to-date spend and our encumberment was less than the budgeted amount, which is unusual. Usually it matches up and we just pay it over the, 10, well, however we do it now. But I just noticed the budgeted number didn't match the year-to-date and the encumberment.
I'm gonna look into that, Jeff. It might be because we paid with a check. I have to look and see outside of the encumbrance or are planning to. But I don't know for sure. And I will defer to Michael
Well,
on that.
it's going to be a little different, Jeff. I think you're talking about, if you're talking about the number that I think you're talking about, meaning the total versus the we're paying out, or you're talking about what we're paying out?
52, just the health and life insurance line item, it's 12.5 million for the year. We're
Correct.
only on track to, I believe, spend 11.4 of it, or 11.5 of it, almost exactly.
Which is correct, because we didn't, remember our new insurance kicked in October 1? So we are on track to do with the spend with our new contract.
Right, I just remember it was split, the document that I originally saw where it was split, the cost per year was 12, I thought it was 12.5, but I could be mistaken. And then,
Or
I was looking at this on the airplane, so
Oh, right.
we can certainly look into it and get back to me, that would be great.
Okay.
We can get back to him.
Thank you.
So a lot of questions for your first meeting.
Oh, and well done, Donna, it's so nice to have you on the team. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right. Now we'll move on to the 25-26 budget timeline.
And I could start and apologize, where it says January 15th, presented the 5-year capital for November, that was supposed to be, that was a typo on my part. We will definitely discuss that prior to presenting it to the city, but obviously that was not discussed this evening. In my haste, just to get kind of a roadmap out, and with Donna being on board, she kind of gave it the once-over and made some edits as well. But I think we're in a real good spot moving forward to develop our 25-26 budget, just as we did last year, which I thought was a smooth process. And I think everyone did appreciate having that kind of timeline, and that as long as everyone does their homework, I'll say it again as I did last year, the process should, knock on wood, move pretty smoothly. But that is an error for the capital, so we will correct that, and we will obviously meet to discuss the 5-year capital before presenting it to the city. We will work on that in-house and connect with both you, Ellen, and Glenn, and we can see if we can get that moved forward so we can present it to the city and then have it as part of our budgeted document. So I apologize for putting November, my apologies.
Oh, thank you.
Did we get an extension last year for the January 30th date? Do we know?
I
Or we're gonna
believe-
look into that.
I'll look into that as well, because we kept that date pretty similar, so I don't
Yeah.
think they held us to the end of the year, because I didn't think they met during the holiday time. Maybe that's why they punted it for the 2 weeks, is
maybe.
my guess, if my memory is coming back to me this evening. So I think that's why it was 2 weeks after that, so we would have it done prior to then, but that's not a problem. We'll work on that.
Okay.
It's not an issue. With Dean's new list and with Rachel,
Right.
it'll be pretty quick.
Just put it together in one document. So should we do a special board meeting in December? For it, rather than a budget, keep the budget meeting, do a special board meeting early on, just to look at that and submit it? Assuming we can't get the same date as last year, but if we can get the
If we
same
get the
date,
same date,
then that'd be
Donna and
great.
I can contact over to the city if we can get the same date,
then
and if
that's
not,
even
then yeah,
better.
we'll share
All
that.
We'll for that.
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Start a new precedent.
That was my question too.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff?
So it broke up a little bit. You're proposing that we would get that capital 5-year budget in January then? Is that the proposal? At the facility meeting?
Correct, if the city allows us to punt it down the road, yes.
Okay. Otherwise, maybe we can just reinstate the facility meeting for December if we need to. I mean,
Exactly, yep.
great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we'd probably have to
A
do
special,
a
so
special
it gets
full
voted.
board meeting, because the board has to vote on it to present it to the city.
We
A
could do that
meeting in
in Zoom,
December, yeah.
if that's the case.
So if that's the case, we would have a special Board of Ed meeting in December.
And just bring it right to the full board instead of facility first, just go straight to full.
Right,
Sounds good to me.
okay.
If you're all right with that.
Absolutely. Streamline.
One less meeting.
Right, right, and we could do that in place of the budget, because
Yep.
we wouldn't really need
And that's the
to
only one we
discuss
kept on the
anything.
calendar. so.
Right, right, okay. topics for future meetings, I would like to look at the contracts and then answers to anything you can get back to us. Which would be in January, our next meeting. Well, we'll see.
Yes, we'll see.
Okay.
TBD.
And then, of course, our monthly financials, still keep the budget timeline on there too, just if anything needs to be adjusted or whatever. Anything else coming up? None of your projects wouldn't impact the budget at all? Your ongoing, nothing from facilities, okay. Comments for the good of the order. I'm gonna start with Dean.
Welcome to your new role.
Thank you so much.
Jason.
Welcome and thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Glad to have you.
Yay, Donna.
Yeah. Welcome, Donna, thank you. Good meeting, quick Ellen.
Welcome, Donna. Well, Donna, welcome. And multitask.
Just another hat.
Donna, welcome, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna, and welcome.
Sue?
Thank you, Donna, nice job. Thank you. I
Donna?
appreciate everybody's support, and I gotta say, putting this together, we have a well-oiled machine here at central office, and I'm so grateful for that and for the administration and it all, so look forward to it.
Good.
Thank you.
And welcome, I look forward to working with you. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Second.
We are adjourned at 6:44.